Hello everyone and welcome to ShortSalePowerHour.com. My name is Fred Weaver. I'll be joined here in a moment by my partner Kevin Kauffman. We're with Group 4610, Arizona's premier short sale team. All right, we have been talking for the last few days, as Kevin comes into the picture here, about BPOs. You're coming in backwards. Get out of here. Wow, see, look at that. We've been talking about BPOs, broker price opinions, talking about how to get them ordered, been talking about how to make sure the call comes from the BPO agent directly to you, how to handle the scripts and dialogue with the actual BPO agent, how to ask the BPO agent what the value is of the property. Okay, so we're at that stage right now. It is F'd Up Friday, and we're going to get to a couple F'd Up stories here in a moment because we've made quite a few mistakes. That's how we have this system in place.
From time to time.
Well, I mean, like over the past several years of doing hundreds of short sales, we've made the mistakes.
Pretty much don't always do everything perfect.
Correct.
Well, really quickly, the role play that we did, you played along pretty well, and that was, I would say that was a really typical phone call.
It was.
Of a BPO agent. But occasionally there's going to be times where the BPO agent will not even give you a clue. I mean, not even in the ballpark of what that offer came in.
Correct.
Don't worry. I like to ask at least 5 times or get hung up on whatever comes first before I give up with the BPO agent on the value.
It's a fine line between not having all the BPO agents pissed off at you, because if you do that, you may get one of them that gets another order from one of your listings. Not that we've ever had that happen. Anyway, so it's important to not piss them off, but it is important to continue asking. And if they decide to hang up, that's their choice. But I would continue asking in as many ways as possible what the value came back at.
At the end of the day, though, here's the deal. If I don't get it, I'm okay with that. I'll get it from the bank. Now, I know some of you are out there going, well, they won't tell you. Why would they give you that number? Yeah. They will tell you. Trust me, if it comes from Wells Fargo, it's right there in their system notes. Ask me how I know that. And any rep will tell you, or they'll just tell you that's the counter offer.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. In fact, a lot of the counter offers you get from your negotiators, we haven't gotten there obviously in our progression, we're working our way there, but a lot of the counter offers you'll get from a negotiator are going to be actually what your value is or what their value is. So it's important to find that out.
The thing,
customer service reps are great at giving you the value because they don't even know what they're giving you. So don't call Lossmith or the short sale department. Call customer service. Yeah. Sometimes calling later in the evening when you know Lossmith and the short sale department's closed or early in the morning is a great technique as well, because there's other people that have access to the system notes and can see what the value is, but they don't know the value or importance of the number they're giving you. So
also, don't get all worried and hung up on this, but if you don't get it from the first person, hang up and call back. We've called 6-7 times in a row to talk to 7 different people to get a BPO value.
Yep.
You can do that too. It's not that hard. Yeah. Don't get fazed by somebody telling you they can't give it to you. That's not the end of the world.
Here's where we're going to get real strict, guys, and you don't have to follow this, but this is our process, okay? We do not go any further in this process until we have the BPO value from either the BPO agent or the bank. And if we don't have an exact number, we're going to get a ballpark.
Absolutely.
Meaning that we're going to say, you know what, based on my hot and cold game with the BPO agent and the bank, I believe the BPO is somewhere between 400 and 430. Yeah. Even if it is a 5 or 10% gap, I at least want to know a range of where that BPO is. So our team will not advance further. Now I'm going to tell you about a couple F'd up stories where we have made a mistake and not done that. Listen to that, guys. Kevin and I will not negotiate blindly. We will never start working on a file and going down a path with a negotiator where they know what the value is and they're countering us and things like that, and we don't have any clue what the value is. So it's important that you get the value from somewhere. Use your outback mindset. You have to have it, though.
You cannot negotiate against somebody who has more information than you do. You will lose every single time.
Yep.
You have to have all of the information. If you don't, it's like going to a fight with your hands tied behind your back. It's just stupid.
Yep. All right, so a quick example of a effed up situation, a little forgettable, or what I'd like to call unforgettable situation.
However you want to call it.
We've got a file right now in our pipeline where we screwed up. We took somebody's word that said the BPO value is good, and we just wrote good in the notes, but turns out through Equator, we've been working on the file, we got countered and they canceled our file out last week because we wouldn't come up to their counter. So we're going to talk next week about how to dispute a value, and we're going to go through some of that with you. We're not done with BPOs, guys, because math problem, as Kevin said this week, is the only thing that matters. We know what the offer is. We want to know what the denominator is. We want to know what the value of the property is. That will give us an equation, and we'll start working you through that equation and how that works. But we're not advancing any further in our process until we know the offer price, which we should have in our file, obviously, and we know the value, which is something we get from the BPO agent of the bank. So Please don't mess up. I'm not going to go into all the details of our situation, but we essentially just called the bank. We talked to somebody at the bank who we've known before. They said the BPO value was good, and then wouldn't you know it, we got countered through Equator by the negotiator. We didn't bring the counter up, so they just closed the file out. Ridiculous, guys. So we can't let that kind of stuff happen. Even as good as we are in our team, we have to continuously be aware that I'm not okay with somebody's definition of good. I want an actual value in our file, okay?
If you don't have the number, you can't go any further. You can't afford to have mess ups like that where your file gets canceled.
You'd be better off spending 5 hours on the phone trying to find the BPO value by calling 50 different people at the bank than you would going ahead and advancing on into your negotiations, only to have your file canceled out and spend 5 more hours getting it reset up, re-verified, and redone. That's the worst case scenario.
I'm going to give you one more scenario that you don't want to have to deal with, you guys. Let's just say you get counteroffered, and because you don't know the number, you don't actually feel that you have the authority to come back and let them know that the buyers aren't willing to move. Here's the deal. You get counteroffered, and you just go sell that to the buyer, and they may be coming up to a number that the home can't even appraise for. You're doing a disservice to everybody, your seller and the buyer and the other agent in this process without knowing the number. So I can't impress upon you enough. You have to know the numbers. Do not negotiate without knowing the numbers. Okay, guys? We're going to go into this further next week. Like Fred said, we're going to talk about disputing BPOs, how to dispute them, when to dispute them, what to do with them, and we'll take it from there. So I'm sure you guys will get a lot out of it. Come back next week to shortsalepowerhour.com with Group 4610. I'm Kevin Kauffman. That's Fred Weaver. We're going to end it like we always do. Short Sale Power Hour. Short Sale Power Hour. Crush it.
Crush it.